everybody, it's Margo and Birdie here, and we're getting ready to finish up
My First Quilt.
My First Quilt. And it is so much fun. We've got it quilted. Birdie got it quilted. Hope I see a little thread right here. And we are going to show you how to square it up today. So we know there's many different ways when you make a quilt, you have to square it up because it's not going to be 100% square once you quilt it.
Right, the quilting alters it a little bit.
A little bit. So, and squaring up the quilt is you want to square it up so that you can get the binding on correct. And then
you want those corners to be as square, what, a 45 degree
45 degree angle as you can.
As you can get.
So, to get that to happen and to square up the quilt, so you've got your sandwich, it's all completely quilted. And so now you've got to remove this outer bit so that you can put your binding on.
Your extra batting and your extra backing. Yeah.
So normally it's done with a square ruler. We know that you do have this size and this one are two that you have in your arsenal because we bought them for this quilt. So you can use something as small as this size, didn't you think, Paula?
Yeah, as long as you can get that corner to be as perfect as possible.
So what you want to do is you want to get your corner squared up on here as much as you can to be completely square. So you have to line up on these.
And this one will help too to help you line that up.
And this one helps you line that up because we want the 5-inch thing going straight.
5-inch border, basically.
Since it's been sewn, you want a 5-inch border, and I can tell it's not 100% straight because I'm using these two rulers right here next to each other on the 5. So this is the interesting thing about this. So when you go to square up your ruler, you're going to have places where you have a little less of the background and a little more of the background. So that is what you're cutting off. And so you have to make sure that you have at least a 1/4 inch of the background
of your fabric
in here. So this one is like, gosh, one hair off being a 1/4 of an inch. But you're going to catch it because it's going to come, you're going to sew way back up here
when you attach your binding.
When you attach your binding.
The little misses will be hidden in your seam allowance.
Correct. So it's fine if you have just a little batting showing in places, but you're going to also cut some of this off so that you can square up the quilt because this has become a little distorted in the
quilting process.
Yeah. So
which
this
is
helps
very typical.
Yes.
So don't panic.
Don't panic. Exactly. So what I would do is I would cut. First of all, I would square this up.
Get the corner done.
Get the corner done. And then before I remove the ruler, I'd get this one lined up again, hold it down, and square this way. And then move this one down here to go to the other corner.
So don't cut this all the way because it might not, you want to have a little bit of excess. You might have to come off your 5-inch thing over there just to make sure. You want the most important thing is to get those corners really nice and squared.
You don't really want to cut past the halfway mark, past the halfway mark. Anytime you're squaring a quilt, till you get the other side squared, so you can see how you're going to have to manage this end because you may have to move it. It may be an 1/8 off in different places, so you may have to move this as much as an 1/8 around. So, and that's perfectly fine. But let's say you have a bigger ruler and you say, "Oh, I'm going to use it." Same practice. You come up here and you find where your 5, and I'm going to put it on where it's the 5-inch. And the 5-inch.
And it's that safety pin that's giving you trouble.
We got to move the safety pin. So we didn't take the safety pin out because she's wanting to make sure the corners are accurate. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the safety pin out before we cut it. We're just looking at it right now, but you want to make sure that this is definitely laying flat when you go in to cut it.
And then.
So this would be where I would cut this one right here.
Sometimes you can just cut the corner, do all 4 corners, and come back and see where you're at. It depends. I mean, there's so many ways to do that.
Especially since this is a bigger ruler, and if you're using a 12-inch ruler, then you would definitely go and cut every single corner.
And then we have a big one to show
you. And then come back and cut this evenly across with this ruler. So, yes. So they do come, a square up ruler does come in even this size. We don't carry it, but you can find it on Amazon. It's a little difficult to ship. We don't have any in stock right now. But even when you're doing a bigger quilt, this is a fantastic size to,
it gives you diagonal lines that can kind of help you follow your pattern in your quilting if you're doing something a little more complicated than simple quilt like this.
This one is pretty big, and I've knocked off a corner. It's dropped, and a corner's been knocked off of mine before. I'm actually on my second one at home because I've kind of messed it up over the course of time.
Got a little tiny chip in this corner.
Yeah,
but it's still usable.
It's still usable. So this one is probably the easiest thing to square up quilts with. That's why I bought this one, because I do a lot of quilts. And so if you're going to be quilting a lot of stuff, this one is a good investment. It's a little more expensive than the others, but you could do so nice when you have like a throw or a king size quilt to get those corners and half the quilt really, really square and evenly done.
And even this smaller one does have one diagonal line, and that sometimes, again, helps you line stuff up when you're looking at your quilt.
Cool.
So
exactly.
You don't have to go big expensive in the beginning.
Nope. You definitely do not have to go big expensive in the beginning.
You got to make sure you like it and you want to keep doing it.
Yes, but I know you're going to be hooked.
Yeah. Yeah.
So anyway, we are going to square up this quilt. We'll take the pin out, and Paula will square up this quilt here in a minute. I think she's going to probably use the bigger ruler. Or what ruler are you going to use?
I think it'll be easier for them to catch it on video this way.
Yep, I think so too, because it's big and it's easy to see. All right, well, let's get to squaring up the quilt.
So I've got my little ruler that you guys got in your kit, and it's a 6.5 inch ruler. So I'm taking the corner here is where my number 1 block is. The numbers are here, and that way I know that I want to try and get a 5-inch border all the way around, and then I've lined this up. So I'm going to go ahead and start cutting. And now I got this cut, and now I'm going to cut this side. Okay, I'm going to come out here to the edge of my ruler, and I have perfectly squared corner. So now that I've got that cut, I can go ahead and line this ruler up. And again, I'm watching my 5-inch line because we want to try and get a 5-inch border. Okay. And if you're going to be putting these rulers together, it's really kind of tricky because you don't want to damage your blade. So just play with it a little bit. So I'm going to go a little bit past. Okay, there we go. So now I can get rid of this. And I'm only going to cut like around halfway. Right there. And then I'm going to move my quilt around. And I always just start and go one way, and then we'll get this at the end. So I'm going to come and move this corner closer to me. And you just want to make sure that your quilt top is laying completely flat. You want to smooth it out. Okay, so I'm going to come here using the same rulers, remove that little safety pin. And again, okay. Let's see how we're doing. And you can tell with this corner, I'm trying to match that 5-inch. It's at the 5-inch line there and there. And that's what I'm going to be cutting off. And then we'll get this in place. And you can see how it's a little bit different, but that's okay. So I'm going to start here. I'm going to come up there. Then I got to come back here, and I'm going to, oh, I got enough table. I didn't think I had enough table down there. Okay. I'm going to come over here without moving that ruler. And I'm going to get that corner, okay? So now I'm ready to cut the rest of this side. So we're going to move it back the way it was. Pull it down so I can reach everything. Give me an idea of where I'm cutting. Take my long ruler, and I want to match like my ruler on the edge there that I just cut, and at the same time, I'm getting a glare from all these lights, but this is a good, so it's matched up. And I'm just going to finish this side. So we got one side cut off, yay. And then you just keep going around and doing the whole, and I got a little, I'm gonna use my ruler here, you can see, match that up to get a nice even, yeah. And there you go. So you want to go around and do that to all 4 corners. Keep going, right?
Yeah, you don't have to talk. But
Okay, cool. Oh, that one's already cut, so I'm gonna do this one. Once you cut all this off, you've got all this extra batting and stuff, and some people just throw this away. Not me. These are great to save. You can maybe get a mug rug out of this, a pothole, you know, something small, but the thing that I like to save them for is to practice my free motion quilting. So all you've got this little piece here, and you can get a lot of practice work in these sections here and do it. You just got to put a piece of backing on the front, on the back, and one on the front, and just practice your free motion. It's a great way. You know, don't waste it. I save all this stuff, so just wanted you to keep that in your head, because I know you're going to want to make another quilt. And now you have a square quilt, and it's all done. You're ready to start working on your binding.